Good morning. It's Vijay here. Today is Wednesday, 19th of May, 2024. Today could be one of the most important days in the trading calendar of 2024. I have titled it as Stop Loss Day. Today, US is celebrating what is called the Juneteenth Day, which is a holiday in the US. So all the conditions today are ripe for a very significant movement during the day in Indian markets. Generally, when US markets are closed, the bulls come out to play and play big. Now, look at the conditions today. Yesterday, our markets went up. Nifty made an all time high, though Bank Nifty went up much more than Nifty, but it did not make an all time high, but it is targeting that. Across the board, many sectors made all time highs. Defense stocks, investors went berserk. They bid up 7%, 6% across the board. And if you look at US markets, Dow Jones made an all-time high. The S&P made an all-time high. Nasdaq just off the all-time highs. So we are now having a situation where India and US are making all-time highs. Now, as far as the Asian markets are concerned, though they were depressed yesterday, but today they have bounced back. At one point of time today, Nikkei had wiped out the entire losses of that 800-point drop, which we saw about a couple of days ago. Right now, Nikkei is trading at 225 points. Hang Seng is trading at 350 points. The bond yields are down, which means risk assets everybody is rushing into. And yesterday was a very important day for US stocks, where Nvidia became the most valuable stock in the US stock market, becoming the number one after edging out Microsoft. The last time Microsoft was edged out was by Cisco in March of 2000. And subsequently, Cisco fell 90%. And even today, Cisco is only about 50%, less than 50% of the value of the stock, the price which it reached in March 2000. I'm not predicting that Nvidia will fall that much, but what I can only say is the amount of euphoria which is there is amazing for a person who's an investor for a long time to relook at the portfolio. So if you are still feeling that the market is going to go up like 25,000, 24,000 is what people are talking of, the big investors, the big analysts are talking of, then I would suggest only one thing. Kindly put a stop loss on your portfolio. Now, what is this stop loss? Stop loss is something which we normally use when you are an investor too. You put what is called a trailing stop loss. The normal stop loss which traders use is how much loss they can bear. But an investor putting a trailing stop loss will mean that he is protecting his profits to that extent. So if you want to put a trailing stop loss, if you're a very, very short-term investor, not trader, I'm talking about investor, then you would like to put yesterday's lows across the board as your trailing stop loss. If it closes below yesterday's lows, that is point number one. If you're a medium-term swing trader kind of thing, who's still an investor, really speaking, because he has taken delivery of shares, then you need to put the weekly low, the past week's low as your trailing stop loss. But if you're a long-term investor and if you think you are now got enough money and you want to catch the change of trend, you will have to put a trailing stop loss below June 4th lows, closing below June 4th lows. For a long-term investor, closing below June 4th lows. For a medium-term investors, last week's lows. For a short-term, very short-term investor, yesterday's lows. All of them should be on closing basis. Keeping this in mind, I think one should keep your profits piling on and just move with it. So you keep yesterday's stop loss, last week's stop loss, and June 4th stop loss, and then you ride the trend. One can never say when the euphoria will end. But old bandicoot like me has seen euphoria in 1992, 94, 99, 2000, 2004, 2008, 2015, 2021, and now we are here. This euphoria, in my analysis, is bigger than all the euphorias I have seen. Now, so therefore, it can last longer. But when it turns, it will probably hurt a lot of people. So it's very difficult not to get euphoric when you are seeing everyone making money and you are going to sell today would mean that you will probably lose profits. So the only way you can get profits, keep profits, is by putting a trailing stop loss. So today is a very important day for me in my analysis. That is why I am suggesting a trailing stop loss. I'm not saying today will be the top, but I'm only saying that if should it break yesterday's low, then cause for concern for the short term. If it breaks last week's low, it is a short term concern. It's a medium term concern for medium trader. It's a concern for a medium term trader. And if it breaks June 4th low, then it is a concern for a long-term investor. I mentioned trader, but it's an investor. So therefore, whatever you do today, just keep this in mind that, we are in an euphoric stage and we can, get into trouble if we are not being careful. Final point I want to drive is that yesterday's investment numbers, both DIIs and FIIs, show that they have bought total of 4,000 crores. So you are seeing more and more buying at higher levels. And the topping of the ice cream, I would say, or the topping of the dessert, is the Vodafone wanting to sell off about 9% of its stake yesterday at around close to 10% at around 10,000 crores. Now, what has happened is, because the demand is so huge, now they've revised it to sell 18% of Indus Towers, which will amount about 15,000 crores and odd. Now, 15,000 crores Vodafone will get out by selling the 18% stake in Indus Towers, which is probably the second largest sale in a block deal. The largest, I think, was ITC, which did about 17,700 crores. Today, they are going to sell about 15,500 crores, which is now going to be absorbed by passive funds as well as by the mutual funds. So if you believe that, and not if you believe, I mean, if we know that the mutual funds get about 18 to 20,000 crores per month through SIPs, so 15,000 crores is going to be absorbed by the funds today. Of course, not everything will go to the mutual funds, domestic mutual funds. FIs also may buy, but still, look at the numbers which we are talking about. Yesterday also there was a 1,000 crore block deal. There are continuous block deals which are happening. The promoters know what they're talking about, what they're doing. They are seeing that more and more demand is there, so they would rather sell and wait. So whatever you do today, just have be cautious and have an eye on the stop loss numbers which I mentioned. Thank you for joining me. It's Vijay here, signing off.